Hello, friends, and welcome back to Ghouls Night In, the spooky chat show with your best ghoul friends. I'm Penny Snark.
And I'm Midge Munster.
And Midge, I am still on my nostalgia tip.
Hell yeah.
I am enjoying things from the past, both the actual past and my personal past. Because
Yes.
today I am bringing you another thing that I was very fixated on in elementary, maybe definitely middle school. It's the Brea Tar Pits.
I don't know what that means, so I
You
can't
don't
wait
know-
to find out.
Oh my gosh, I am so excited to tell you about this.
It's Midge's favorite kind of episode. Penny info dumping about
Yes.
something I have no concept of.
Oh my gosh,
I
that
learned
is a
so
delight.
much.
Awesome. Well, I guess my first question was going to be if you have ever been, which clearly you have not, because you don't even know what that is.
No. Is this a Midwestern thing?
No.
okay.
So this is...
Oh, wait. La Brea's California, right?
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
So I was going to say, even though I have been to LA several times, I have not made it to these tar pits, which are just right fucking there in LA. Like, they are next to
They're just
LACMA,
right there.
the County Art Museum.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Whoa.
I feel like I, at some point, was told that they weren't really, like, worth going to by one of my, like, California local friends.
Okay.
But in retrospect, this is, like, kids there go there for, like, field trips and stuff.
Sure.
So obviously she was like, oh, well, that's boring. Like, you don't need to go there. And I'm like, I should have gone. But
Yeah, you were like, actually, you're a huge liar.
actually, you're a huge liar, and I would love to see this. I read some articles from the LA Times, LA Weekly, Scientific American for this episode, as well as watched a really cool YouTube video from Mini Minuteman, who I was not aware of, but appears to be a pretty well-known archaeological educator content type guy. Because the La Brea Tar Pits are big pits of tar that are full
Aptly
of
named.
fascinating fossils.
Oh. Oh, yeah, because sometimes my brain is like, oh, right, fossil fuel. Like, it's,
Yep.
there is, like, kind of, like, gobbledygook.
Yeah, but this is actually slightly different.
Okay.
So, as you might expect from the name, the La Brea Tar Pits are pits of naturally occurring asphalt, or tar, or you may say La Brea, because that does mean the tar in Spanish.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Wow, the more you know.
that was something that I laughed at, that they kind of started off the YouTube video I watched, where he was like, yes, this is called the tar pits. So as you may guess, the area was first written about by the Spanish explorers who came to the area in the late 1700s. But these pits were here for a long time before that. So the oldest material carbon dated from the pits is from 38,000 years ago.
Whoa.
So we've had a lot of time for stuff and creatures to get in this tar.
Things and stuff.
There's stuff in this tar, baby. So you might be wondering why there is tar here. What do you mean naturally occurring asphalt? Isn't that a thing that we make to slather on our roads?
Right.
So obviously I have
I'm guessing the answer is no.
No, I have only a layman's understanding of this, but apparently oil can seep up to the surface from inside the earth, and when it pools on the ground and starts to evaporate, just like the stickiest bits are left, and that is asphalt. And over time, as those patches get bigger and bigger, sometimes they get covered in water when it rains, or it gets covered by dust and leaves. And if you are an old-timey creature, you're going to walk into it.
Walk right into that, right.
You're going to get stuck and you're going to die. Like, this is like what we imagine quicksand to be.
I was literally about to say, this is the fear, this is the real life fear.
It is. And then you get preserved in the tar and all kind of held together.
Oh my God, are we going to get into like some bog body-esque aspects?
Perhaps. So there have been tar-covered bones discovered in this area kind of like the whole time it was being settled, but at first people just assumed it was from like livestock and stuff who had gotten stuck in the mire. And it wasn't until 1901 that we've got a gentleman named William Warren Orcutt, who,
great name,
right? Another good name, who bring scientific attention to this area. So he was a geologist and engineer by training, and he had moved to the LA area to be in charge of the like geology and engineering departments at Union Oil. So he was like doing surveys of this area, looking at stuff, and was collecting all these incredibly rad fossils from the tar pits. And people were like, oh, maybe we should actually look into this a little bit more. So they, start excavating, start preparing and cleaning these finds, and they have some very impressive fossils here. So we've got mammoths, we've got dire wolves, we've got giant sloths, we've got saber-toothed cats. One of the things that has always stuck in my mind from first learning about this is that they have this concept that they talk about of a predator trap, which basically is like, a mammoth is walking around and is like, oh, look, a normal water pool for me to drink from. And then they're like, oh no, it's sticky. And they'd be stuck in the tar. And then the saber-toothed cats would roll up and be like, hey, sweet, this is a stuck mammoth. We should eat this. And then they would also get stuck. And more scavengers would be like, look at all this dead stuff. I should eat that. And spoiler alert, everybody's just like a little old lady who swallowed the fly in reverse.
Literally, yes. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
The first thing, of course, that I did when you said these words and I didn't know what they meant was give it a goog.
Yes.
And oh my God, the bones.
The bones.
I'm so sorry to this man, to whoever told you this was not worth seeing. This looks cool as hell.
I know. It's so cool. And like,
who doesn't want to see a freaking mammoth skeleton? What?
Right? And like, you may have seen this in your Goog, but I feel like the thing that like I so clearly remember is seeing an image of, they have like a fiberglass sculpture of a mammoth family, and
one
is sinking into the tar and looks like she's like calling out to her family.
It's very, very visually intense.
Very visually intense. These were added to the park in 1968 because, of course, when else would fiberglass sculptures be added, if not in the late 60s.
It's giving Route 66 tourism vibes.
Exactly. Although apparently in like the early 90s, the mom, the like one that's in the tar, actually slipped further into the tar. So it's like, it's happening again.
Predator trap.
It's happening. It's happening. But so obviously they have these incredibly cool fossils. But one of the things that like is extra cool and that was really highlighted. So in this YouTube video I watched, he was able to like go behind the scenes and like talk to like the people in the lab. And they were really kind of like, obviously like these mammoths and things like that are like the showstoppers for the museum. But some of the most scientifically useful stuff is that everything is surrounded by microfossils. So, like, there's insects and shells and plants that get trapped surrounding the big fossils that really let you get, like, a good idea of what the ecosystem was like.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure helps with, like, dating, too. Like, dating things, yeah.
Totally. And they also find, like, lizards and robins and, like, animals that we see in California today. So, who have just been hanging out this whole time. So yeah, they have over 3.5 million specimens in the collection, and it is still an active site today. So They have one pit, Pit 91, that's still actively being excavated. And, like, in the museum, you can, like, look into it. And, like, so they have it, like, behind glass, so you can, like, look at it. And back just recently in 2006, which, I mean, it's not that recent, but, you know, when we're talking about 38,000 years, it's pretty recent.
Right.
And they were, like, digging an underground parking garage for the art museum next door. And they were like, oh, yeah, we found a bunch more fossils.
Yeah, I bet you did.
Yes, including a nearly intact mammoth that had the top of its skull sheared off with construction equipment. Because they were like, shit, there's a mammoth right here.
Hate when that happens.
Hate it. So they took 23 big chunks of, like, tar with fossils that are now currently being examined. So it's called, like, they call it Project 23 because they have these 23 different things that people are, you know, slowly kind of picking apart. And
I'm sorry, this is so cool. What?
I know. I definitely thought you would have known about this. So
No,
I'm delighted to bring it to you.
I'm a freaking weirdo about, like, fossils and shit. This fascinates me.
It's so cool.
Whoa.
So I definitely recommend watching this video because they were also talking about how different, like, the archaeological process is, like, with tar than with, like, a normal dig.
Sure, because it doesn't, like, break apart the same, I'm sure.
Yeah, and so they're using, like, some chemical solvents to, like, dissolve some of the tar. And they also were showing, like, obviously this site has been active since, like, the 1900s, and they're like, yeah, like, there were some, you know, preservation things that they did in the 70s that are not how we would do them today, so we're kind of, like, undoing some of those things. But then they also, like, can see, like, oh, if you do this to the bones, like, we did this in the 70s, and now 40, 50 years later, we can see how they've held up and can kind of take that information for their future restoration. But Midge, you made a suggestion. If you are listening to this podcast, you may be wondering, have they found any people in these tar pits? And the answer may surprise you, which is there has only ever been one human excavated from the Brea Tar Pits. And there does seem to be a little bit of tea here. So this is a little bit of a tale.
Okay.
So, La Brea Woman, as she is known, was found in 1914 and is the partial skeleton of a woman who they estimate to be between 18 and 25 years old. And her remains have been dated to 8,000 BC, so like 10,000 years ago. Crazy. Her skull is fractured, so some sources are like, is this California's first murder victim?
Sure.
But it's also possible that did not happen.
Right.
Who knows? So at the time, her remains were found near a dog and a grinding stone, which the grinding stone was a common burial item for the indigenous people in Southern California. And at first, people were like, oh my gosh, this lady was buried with her dog. It must be like a purposeful, maybe like a ceremonial burial. But it turns out that the dog is only 3,000 years old. So the dog was not related to this. But it is still possible that, like, with the grinding stone, that she may have been placed here purposefully. And we do know that the Chumash people, who are native to the area, did use this tar to help seal the canoes that they were using to, like, sail off the coast of California to all the islands. So, like, they were aware of it, and we know,
like, knew its properties.
Yeah, that, like, people were in the area. I did read, there was an LA Times, I think, article that I was reading that were like, mysteries of the tar pits, and one of them is like, why aren't there more people here? And they were kind of saying that because there's so many, like, saber-toothed cats and wolves and, like, big predators, that maybe, like, people did not hunt often in this area.
Sure.
Because they were like, holy shit, there's a saber-toothed cat there. Which is also their theory for why there may not be that many, like, mountain lions, which we know are still prevalent in California, in Southern California today. But you see, like, statistically far fewer of them than some of the other predators.
Well, I mean, not that animals are not intuitive, but I'm like, yeah, if the people were using, like, oh, we were using this sticky substance to seal our boats, there's probably at least some knowledge of like, hey, maybe we don't get too close to that.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. I think that is very likely that, I mean, obviously a person is better than a mammoth at identifying if something might be sticky.
maybe I shouldn't walk into that. Yeah.
Yeah, but like especially with the thought that people think that she may have been interred in the pits, but it seems like it wasn't like a common practice to like give people to the pit or something. But the tea that's here is that there used to be a cast of her skull on display in the museum. And when they did a renovation, they replaced it with like a display of native artifacts, which could be a good thing, you know, more respectful. But the potential complication that kind of arose in 2009, a volunteer at the museum who is like a forensic artist in her everyday life was like, hey, like I would love to do a forensic sketch like based on this skull to kind of imagine what she may have looked like, which, you know, people do. That is a thing. And according to her, the museum staff were like, yeah, that would be awesome. We'd love that. She was given private access to the skull cast, worked directly with it. And then when it was done, she was like, cool, like how are we going to display this? Like, what are you going to do with it? And the museum ghosted her for months. And then finally we're basically like, we were doing you a favor to let you see the skull and we're not displaying it. And she was like, I did this for free and I'm not under any contract with you, so I'm putting it on my website. And the museum was mad about that. And obviously there could be a lot of reasons for this, but what was suggested in the LA Weekly article I was reading is some suspect that the museum wants to downplay her existence because they are afraid that they will be forced to repatriate the remains. And there have been discussions with tribal representatives in the area. And as far as I can tell, like, at least at this point, the consensus was there is no way to, like, identify what tribe she would have been associated with, obviously from 10,000 years ago. So no one really has, like, a direct claim on her. And obviously other people pointed out, like, she was there. She's been there the whole time. She was on display, and no one has done anything.
I've been here the whole time.
I've been, exactly. So yeah, so maybe a little bit of drama associated with La Brea's one and only human remains.
Interesting.
Very interesting. But it was also like pointed out even in the article that, you know, some of the museum staff had said like, oh, well, you know, it's potentially confusing for people to have like one human remains when our like exhibits all really focus on like the flora and the fauna. So I don't know. I have no further details.
You know, I get so confused when I see a human skull that I can't go on with my museum visit.
I just can't think. I'm like, how could it be that there's a mammoth but also a person? It's a mystery. But yeah, basically these are an incredibly cool site. I'm so jealous of LA having it. And next time that I'm out in LA, I am definitely 100% going to the Tar Pits.
So what I'm hearing from this entire episode is when you and I get back to Midsummer Scream next year, hopefully, you and I are taking a day trip out to the Tar Pits.
Yes, please.
I'm like, this sounds freaking awesome.
Right? I want
to see that really bad.
Yeah, they have, like, in the museum, an entire wall just of direwolf skulls.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. This person needs a reality check.
I know. I
know. Like, this is our Steamboat Arabia, right? Like,
yes.
I grew up going to this every other year, basically. Like, it's when it's your local thing, it's kind of like, okay. Yeah. But it's sick as hell. There are no direwolf skulls in Missouri.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure there are, but they're not on display.
Right, not above the ground.
There's not a wall of them. Yeah, we got to get to these tar pits, girl.
Yeah, we got to get to these tar pits. I would love to know from any of our, I know we have a lot of California and LA based listeners, if you guys are into the tar pits, if you are bored of the tar pits from going too much, and to that I just say, LA, you are too spoiled to be like, tar pits. The other thing, I
More
didn't
like
have this.
the pits, am I right?
The pits. I didn't have this in my notes, but one of the things that I thought was really interesting was some of the researchers in the YouTube video were saying that people are so used to LA being like, oh, like movie magic and Disney. Like sometimes people come and they don't think that it's real.
Oh, sure.
Like they're just like, oh yeah, like is this like a bit? Like did someone sculpt these? And they're like, no, this is real. We're
They're
really
like, wink,
excavating
wink, a
these
fossil
right
in that
now.
museum. Yeah, and I guess that's true too. Like when you grow up in a location where you have access to really crazy sights and scenes, I could see where like maybe the majesty of this is lost on some people. But
Yes.
yeah, I'm like, man, we got Silver Dollar City out here. I want to see some tar pits.
I know. Yeah. So definitely head into the tar pits next time I am out in the area. My passion has been reignited for tar pits.
Yeah. Ghouls Night meet up at the tar pits next summer.
Yes. Oh my god, that would be so fun. But yes, if you are a lover of weird archaeological sites and mysterious human remains, let us know. We love the tar pits. We love prehistory.
New Ghouls Night merch. We heart the tar pits.
We heart the tar pits. Oh my gosh. It's so good though. And if you would like to chat with us about tar pits, you can join our Discord, where we're always hanging out, having a good time, chatting about the episodes, but also just all the things we spooky people enjoy, like Halloween crafts and the new Oreos and
Yes.
other important topics.
'Tis the season. It's really
'Tis the season.
it's September, y'all. It's time. So come talk
Yes.
Halloween with us while we're extra in the zone.
For sure. We are locked in.
We're locked in.
And if you enjoyed the podcast, we would love it if you'd leave us a review. We are locked in. It is our biggest time of year, and we would love to get even more listeners to come hang out and be spooky with us. And I believe Midge has a review to share today.
I do. This one is from Sammy with an IE, and is titled "Resurrection Machine," which is our
yeah.
Penny's latest episode, I believe, before this.
Yes.
And it says, "I'm so happy Penny brought up this subject. Loved it, as I am definitely one of those ghouls that was and still is obsessed with ancient Egyptian history. I'm also a longtime listener since episode 1.
Aww.
You guys are my official go-to favorite podcast. Heart ghost emoji.
Thank you, Sammy.
Love that the ancient Egyptian ghouls got some feed from Pennifer.
I do you talking about old stuff. I'm right here.
She's right here.
And if you cannot leave a review on iTunes or your podcast app, you can always shoot us a DM and follow our Instagram to see cool pictures. So if you want to see that sad mammoth sculpture, that'll probably be on the Instagram right now. That is at Ghouls Night in Pod. And if you are looking for me, you can find me at Penny Snark.
And you can find me all over the web at Midge Munster.
And until next time, goodbye.